Hello everyone and welcome to the World Class Stand podcast. Our special guest today is Rickie Lambert. But before we get into the episode, first a shout out to our sponsor, Wordy Art. Wordy has provided us with some prints today. You can catch him over on X with his handle is at WPDigital2, and all his merchandise is available online at footballart-online.co.uk. That's footballart-online.co.uk. And check out this cool Rickie Lambert print he's provided us. We'll be presenting this to Rickie today. And we've also got some more here. Steve and Matt are showing you guys right now, which hopefully will get signed and will be in part of our giveaway. So Steve, World Class Club, we've just launched that. Can you just tell our the people watching how they can join and what's included?
Yep, so World Class Club we set up, £2.99 per month. It's all about helping us keep the channel more and more sustainable, bringing you more and more guests. We're doing about one guest a month at the moment, but obviously the more support we get, the more guests we can give you. And also as part of the club, when you do join, and there's a join button on our homepage, on our YouTube channel, you will get access to early release of our episodes, the ability to ask next guest polls. We'll do polls on who we've got good leads for in our next guest kind of contact list. We'll give the Q&A arena over to the members as well, so you can ask questions to our guests. And as we get it, it's still obviously early days with it, so we will build that product more and more over time.
Yeah, definitely. And today you'll be watching part 1, which is an hour long. And part 2 will immediately be available to members only, becoming available in 2 weeks' time over on our YouTube channel. Everyone, and welcome to the World Class Stand podcast. Our special guest today is Rickie Lambert. Rickie, thanks for coming on.
Nice one, fellas. Nice one. Thank you.
All right, so our show is about world class and world class players. Obviously, you've reached the top international level. We're just going to ask, what do you define as a world class player? And how do you become a world class player?
See, it's a tough one. It's a tough one to try and describe, because I think players are sometimes born world class, and no matter what they do, they are world class. But obviously, a lot of people can hit that bracket of world class as well, and stay at world class, or be in the bracket of world class for their short period of their peak, and then come out of it. So what makes world class? I think the thing that's at the top for me is mentality. You've got to have a different type of mentality to everyone else. Where most players think, I want to emulate the top, I want to get to the top, I want to do that. Where these world class players want to do stuff that hasn't been done before. Want to see what they've done and actually want to get ahead of them. But it's a combination of a lot of things. It's dedication. They've got to have a ridiculous dedication to their profession, day in, day out. They've got to give it everything, every day. Physical. They have to be physically at the peak.
Do you think that's extra training to get?
Yes. Yeah. But again, these are very small few at the very, very top who don't.
Yeah.
But they are, like, you can count them on my hand. That's how many of them are in this world, or have been in this world. The rest have to work tirelessly. Yeah. And then these it's the mentality for me. What sticks out? It's the mental strength of having a vision of what you want to become, and then so I call it manifesting. I think the most successful people in the world are the ones who are the best at manifesting things in their life. So
setting goals, is it, and working?
Right. Yeah. So they're manifesting where they want to be in a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. They see the goals. They can see the steps then of how to get to this place, and they do it. There are nothing knocks them. No opinions. They don't care about other people's opinions or the media's opinion, the friends' opinion. It's like that is it. Tunnel vision. That's where they're going to get to. And then you've got to have obviously the genetics, the technical side, everything. It's a whole mixture of a lot of things that come together. And like I say, a very special few have it. Most have it for only a small time.
You touched on it there in terms of length. Is there a particular time frame? Because we've spoken to some ex-pros. Some have said 3 years you need to be at the top level to be called world class. Some have said like 7 or 10 years. For you, is there a specific time range that they need to achieve in order to actually get that kind of world class stamp?
Yeah, so I say these two different brackets. So I count as players who are world class. So it doesn't matter what they do, they are world class from start to finish. And then these players who hit world class bracket, and it's probably over a minimum of 3 years, I would say, and it's at their peak. Others are longer in that peak, 5 years, 7 years. But I think if you're the best player in the top league for your country, then that's world class in my eyes. And then above that are the very few, like the Messis, who are constantly at world class no matter what type of form they're in, like a De Bruyne, world class. He might be having a bad game, but he can do something that's world class that other players can't do.
Would you say someone like Ronaldinho as well? He wasn't always in peak fitness, but he always had that special something.
He was my favourite player. He is my favourite player of all time.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
I think when he was at his peak, that is the best peak I think the world has ever seen.
Yeah, he did things you've not seen before.
Yeah, he had about 2-3 seasons, and he's getting clapped off at Real Madrid, wasn't he? At the Bernabeu, and that's take something.
Yeah.
So
it was unbelievable. He was doing stuff against the top defenders in the world that I've never seen before. I've seen it against like lesser players, but he was doing it again in the biggest stages against the best opposition, and it was just amazing to see. And obviously the Barcelona team, the players around him, but it was him who I was not that type of player, but I loved football. And then this player, I was just completely shocked. I loved the first Ronaldo, I loved Zidane, but when Ronaldinho came on the scene and he was at his peak, it was incredible.
Different gravy on it,
Yeah, he played with such a some charisma as well. He had a smile on his face. Even like he's added a bit of a joke in like the lineups and stuff. You see what I mean? I think I remember the AC Milan one where he's like licking his lips and rubbing his hand. He's just like, what a character he must have been. And you always come across as someone that just had that bit of skill in his locker that could just open up. One that springs to mind is his goal against Chelsea, where he kind of did a little shuffle and then just stuck it straight in top corner.
the samba shuffle straight in the back.
I've tried that. I don't know how he's got the right part of the toe, curled it. Yeah,
he's like he swerved it with the right side of his big toe, hasn't he?
I think so.
Basically, what he's done, he's hit it, and he's meant to bend it or like move the ball a little bit. It's unbelievable, but he's done a few things. But that's the type of player, like I said, who loved to party, didn't train right. He eventually got thrown out of Barcelona because he was having too much of a good time. But you can't, no matter what, these type of players are going to be world class and are going to do stuff that like people like me, I could do all the training in the world for 12 hours a day for all my life, and I would never get to that level. And I didn't come across that until I got to England. Every step up I took, I was either the best or I knew I could be the best with a little bit of more dedication. When I got to England and I came across Gerrard, Wayne Rooney, Ashley Cole, Frank Lampard, I knew I'm never going to be as good as these players. I was just blown away of how good these actually were. I've played against them a couple of times, seen them on TV, but actually training with these players is a different type of level of player and character I've ever come across.
Any other names? You said Ronaldinho. Any other names that stick out in that category for you?
I mean, probably the best player is Maradona.
Okay.
Maradona. I think him and Messi are probably the two best players, and I think Maradona just peaks, beats Messi for me.
Yeah.
I think, like, again, the lifestyle he had, the pressures he had and what he did in a short time, I think that will never be beaten. But Messi was probably just as good, but it was in a better team with less pressure on him than Maradona. So I picked them two, but like I said, Zidane, I love Zidane. Steven Gerrard, obviously, being a Liverpool fan growing up. John Barnes.
Oh, well, legend, yeah. John
Barnes. He was my favourite player as a kid. And for about four years at his peak at Liverpool, I thought no one's ever going to be as good as him.
That goal was it the Maracana he scored where he waltzed? Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Brilliant, yeah. And the other end of the spectrum, obviously you talked about those players who were just born world class, but they've just got to dedicate them. The one that kind of really springs to mind is Cristiano Ronaldo, model professional. Yeah. He kind of dedicates his whole life still playing now. Was he 40, getting on 41?
Probably,
maybe? So, and he's still at top physical position, condition. So, is there any others, like English-based players, would you say, is it similar to Cristiano in kind of mindset? I think maybe James, not to the level, but James Milner kind of got that dedication. But what about like world-class level players from England?
Rooney?
Rooney. I put Rooney in the Maradona, Ronaldinho type of bracket. That it's just natural. So there's nothing. Like Rooney was just going to be amazing.
Yeah, regardless.
No matter what.
Yeah.
No matter what. But then he got to Man United under Alex Ferguson, and then you got the best of Rooney, which was brilliant to see for everyone apart from Liverpool. But it was Rooney. Yeah, definitely world class. Unbelievable player. Gerrard, again, naturally world class. Lampard.
Imagine they worked hard, those two. Gerrard, Lampard,
Yeah, I would say Gerrard's more naturally gifted than Lampard. Okay. That's in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ashley Cole, would you give him the world class status?
Yes. Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt, yeah.
Yeah.
He's up there with the best left backs England's ever produced, maybe even the best.
I think so.
I can't think of many two better.
I think he is, yeah.
Great. Okay, so be rude not to, but Southampton back to the Premier League, promoted 1-0 against Leeds.
Saints.
Yep.
Yeah. Did you expect it to happen? Back up?
I did. I fancied them, but I knew it was going to be close.
Yep.
But I wasn't expecting that good of a performance. I thought Leeds were going to create and cause more problems, but what Russell did and his tactics was perfect. He absolutely nailed it. The players nailed it. They didn't, because sometimes the pressure on that game is the most pressure in any game in the world, in my eyes, because it changes your life more than any other game.
Yeah.
I've witnessed it myself. I didn't get promoted via the playoffs, where I got promoted into the Premier League, and it changed my life in every way possible. So these lads knew it. These had a taste of the Premier League, and they knew it can change everything. And both sets of players knew this, and I think the Southampton players was able to deal with it better than the Leeds players, and that's what you're seeing on the day. The pressure just got to the Leeds players where the Southampton players thrived. It was amazing to see. It was brilliant.
Experience, do you think, or just mentality?
I think it was down to Russell.
Okay.
Honestly, I think it was down to Russell. I think whatever he's done in the couple of weeks leading up to that game, it's made that it's like I said, he nailed the tactics and the formation, the way of playing, and the lads weren't overawed. So whatever he was doing leading up to the game worked perfect.
Yeah, Leeds had a good path, didn't they? They absolutely battered Norwich in the second leg there, but they didn't turn up, and Saints comfortable in the end, weren't they?
He was, yeah. And now it's now they can enjoy and that feeling knowing that you're going to be a Premier League player.
It must be immense.
Oh my word!
Do you think maybe the disappointment for Leeds, the fact that they finished on 90 points, still missed out on top two, and Southampton, they kind of already could get into the mindset that they was in the playoffs, whereas Leeds, they was kind of fighting right up until the last few games. Do you think the fact that they were settled in knowing that they were going into the playoffs maybe helped them focus more on the task ahead?
I think that had a little thing to do with it, because Southampton were chasing. and they didn't give up that automatic until it was took away. And like you said, that's when they realised, right, we're in the playoffs, let's start planning for the playoffs. Where Leeds didn't get that until the last week. So that carried on. Are we going to do it? Because you have to go for it. You have to think mentally and manifest it. We're going to finish second. You have to do it. So when that's took away, then you have to recalculate how you're going to do it. And like you said, Southampton had a little bit longer to set up for that game than Leeds.
Yeah. So obviously Southampton back in the Premier League. What do they need now to stay in there? Because the 3 sides that come up last season, they all went straight back down again. Southampton, I think they're a bit more better equipped because they've got a few good striking options. So they've got the goals to maybe challenge, and maybe the play style as well may suit them in the Premier League because you get more time on the ball, and with Russell Martin's philosophy. Where do you think they need to add and strengthen to be able to try and stay up in the division?
So, with the Premier League, it can damage, I think, up-and-coming managers with philosophy, because the Premier League, it's not a philosophy-based league. It is a 38 38 finals, and every game is a different tactic, a different way of playing, and you've got to nail it every game, because you're up against the best managers who specifically play their team to play against your team, and all players are built into it. They all believe in it, and you can all do everything that you're asking for. So that is what you're coming up against. What made me what reassured me is the tactics Russell used in that game, because Leeds went to press and they just bypassed the press. You've seen with Burnley, if you stick to your philosophy and your principles too much, you'll go down. Yeah, you will go down. So you have to, like I said, you have to nail the tactics for every game, and every game will be different. Yeah. So I think Russell, what I've seen, I think he'll know that. He'll adapt. And it happened to us when Southampton, we had the philosophy. We play football, not as much as this Southampton side does, but we love to play football, and we took that into the Premier League, and we played some lovely football, and we were dominating possession, but we were getting beat every week. And until we all got together and go, we can't do this no more. Yeah, like we're getting popped, because once you make a mistake in the Premier League, bang, it's a goal. Then you never ever get away with a mistake in the Premier League. So once we started to change it up a little bit and go long and play football in the right areas, we started to pick up points. Southampton will need at least 3 to 4 core players.
Yeah, it's a balance, isn't it? Because you don't want to replace all the players who got you there, because that'll upset the morale of the dressing room. But the reality is you will need to strengthen. So it's like you say, 3 or 4 additions, strengthen the side, and keep the team spirit there from last season. Definitely.
I think the world-class managers who are constantly coming into the Premier League, they're pushing the league forward so quick that when the Championship clubs are now getting promoted, it's not the same as it was last year or 2 years ago. It's gone on again, and it's because of these world-class managers. So, not like I said, 5 years ago, I would say that squad that Southampton's got would be enough and they would survive. But even though the managers in the 10 to 20, they're unbelievable managers with unbelievable squads. That's who you're fighting against. So that's where I would say you need 3, 4 really good players. You don't want to change. You don't want to bring in too many, but you need players to be able to take the places of the people in the spine of that team.
Just going back to your point around tactics and not, sticking to the way you play regardless, win, lose or draw. Do you think the teams that maybe do better when they come up have more adaptable players to different games, different teams you play, so they can get the ball down and play, but equally they can play a different way of playing in through the channels, up to the big man up top? Or
I mean, if you get to Premier League, you can do everything. Okay, you can play in every system that the manager would want you to play. Okay, it's the manager getting it right. Very rarely. Like, I would say Luton nailed their potential. Like, nailed it. And it was an unbelievable story, Luton.
I thought they were going to stay up, to be honest, and it just didn't quite happen.
Unbelievable. People don't give them the credit that they deserve. Where they've come the last 10 years to get to the Premier League was unbelievable. The way they went for it to get into the Premier League and got there and then almost stayed up was unbelievable. Yeah,
they took the lead in a few games. They, like I said, lost from winning positions as well, didn't they? Which, maybe that's a learning curve for them if they do come back up. Yeah. But, they went down to the last day, didn't they? So,
they made some great signings as well. Ross Barkley and Townsend as well. Yeah. Picking them up for free, I think, as well. And they had a good system that they played as well. Strikers scoring goals. So that's all you can ask for to give yourself a chance. But just didn't quite have enough at the end. But yeah, they'll be strong in the Championship next season, definitely.
Going back to Southampton, what's their special ingredient? They seem to produce very good players over the years from the academy. Where we'll say Gareth Bale, Matt Le Tissier, you have Oxlade Chamberlain's made England, Shaw. They seem to Lallana. They've had many come through the ranks there. How good of a club is Southampton?
See, this is the thing with Southampton. I was at Southampton when Luke Shaw, Oxlade Chamberlain, Callum Chambers, and
Ward-Prowse.
Yeah. So what happened then? And this was like this was constant. Wasn't it? Southampton, constant players coming through. And what happened is that they spent millions on the academy and improved it all, but got rid of some characters in that infrastructure. And I don't know whether the intake of academy players has been the same since that big change. It might take a little bit for players like Oxlade Chamberlain, Luke Shaw, the whole system just to calm down again for these players, that like world-class players, because I don't class, they're not world-class naturally, but they've had periods in their career where I think Oxlade Chamberlain has been world-class. Luke Shaw has been world-class for a certain amount of time. And then I seen that potential in them. What they had for decades was what I think was unbelievable coaches and atmosphere. It's hard to explain.
When was that investment then in the academy?
That was when I was there. So that was like 2010.
Okay.
2011, and it's unbelievable academy now, and it was very basic when I was there, but what they had was an atmosphere and coaches that was obviously creating these like diamonds of players, like unbelievable, and they seem to have lost it. They seem to have lost that little gold dust that they had.
You had Walcott before that, didn't you? Players
Walcott,
like that. Yeah. So they do seem to come through. Yeah, Wayne Bridge.
Shearer.
Yeah, Shearer.
Yeah. What do you think of Alan Shearer? Do you think he was world class?
This is a tough one, I think, for a lot of people.
It's divides opinion. This one is tough.
Yeah,
I think he was world class goal scorer.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
And obviously his all round play was unbelievable as well. But naturally, no, I wouldn't. I would say Matt Le Tissier is a better player.
Okay. Or natural.
Yeah.
Would you put Matt in the world class bracket?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, one of them players that doesn't have to do anything. Just naturally put him on a football pitch and give him the ball, and he'll show you why he's world class. Where other players would have to put in so much work just to get anywhere near that level of Matt Le Tissier.
Yeah, I mean, he says himself he wasn't the best professional. I don't think.
Fish and chips on a Friday, I think it was.
But he could do something out of nothing, couldn't he? Yeah. He didn't need anyone around him, did he, to play well? I don't think. Some players, maybe Shearer is one, needs the Wilcox, the Ripleys on the wings to cross the ball in. But yeah.
Matt, I've got to say, Matt would have done what he needed to do to be able to do what he wanted to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. He could do what he wants to do, so he could eat fish and chips.
Okay, yeah.
If he couldn't do it, then he would probably not eat the fish and chips.
He was that confident,
he was like, nothing was stopping him, so he could go and enjoy
Yeah.
enjoy himself.
I get what you're saying. If the fish and chips become an issue, you'd stop it.
Yes,
But because it wasn't, it was like fish and chips on a Friday, smash hat-trick on a Saturday.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, definitely.
So, this is a bit about VAR now as a striker.
get rid of it.
Okay, so why is that? I mean, they're trying to change. There's sort of potential change in the law from, well, what it is now. It's basically the other side of the player. So if any part of your body is daylight, I guess is the way of trying to describe it.
I mean, if I was a striker, I would love this. I would love it.
Yeah,
I would love it. I think like the offside app technology that they use in the World Cup, and just use that. That's the offside. I think that's the way it should be. Everything else, keep goal line technology. Everything else, get rid of it.
Yeah,
goal line, 100% improve the game, didn't it?
Yes,
It was
goal line technology. Keep that offside technology. Get rid of everything else.
Yeah, I think they put a little chip in the football, don't they? And they track that, so you get an accurate reading rather than someone spending 3 minutes trying to draw a line straight. So yeah, it's just
it's the it's the toenail stuff, isn't it? It's the part of the shoulder. Is it part of the shoulder? Is it part of the arm? Is it what?
That Coventry game against Man United.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
he was Marlon type, wasn't he?
they've just took one of the best moments of football away.
Yeah.
I mean, that is criminal. Anyone who was a part of that, oh my word. Like, that was like a moment that should be viewed for decades. But it's been took away.
If the manager is that fine, the manager can argue, well, the camera is not directly in line, is it? Yeah. Sometimes there's an offset to the camera to the line.
I've seen it where it looks like he's onside. Yeah. So I don't know. I reckon get that technology where it's you know what one I'm talking about, don't you?
Yeah.
Where it automatically does it, doesn't it? If it breaks the line, then it's
and it's quick as well, isn't it? Yeah. It's instant. Yep, offside or it makes the game flow a lot better. Obviously the Diaz one for Liverpool as well. He was a mile onside against Tottenham, and he got ruled out.
That was
absolutely shocking. That was probably the worst one last season.
Yeah. I put a couple of tweets out over that. It didn't go down.
Oh, right, okay.
Is that a general feeling amongst ex-pros with VAR? Don't like it?
I don't know, to be honest. I don't know, but that's my view.
Okay.
Yeah, without a doubt. Are we not going to that technology next year?
I know they're changing it, but I don't know if it's the exact one that they're going to be using in the Euros.
If we're not going to that, then that's just pure corruption in my eyes. Why wouldn't you go to that? So now you're keeping it to someone's opinion.
Talking points, isn't it?
Yeah.
It keeps people in jobs, see. I think that's the problem. Is you're going to hire a whole host of referees and stuff, and it's more kind of...
maybe I'm out... I love the conspiracy side in me, don't I? So
I mean, there's plenty
of corruption, but if you've got technology there that just clarifies it straight away, why would you not use it?
You're bang on. You're bang on. There's a reason. Yeah, why not? Basically.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. We won't go into it, but yeah. I think we're on the same page. Yeah.
So they're leaving it grey on purpose. Why are they leaving it grey on purpose?
To me, it can only be for entertainment purposes, because it gives people something to talk about. Yeah. That was offside, and then that's your whole Monday night football segment where you got, 4 hours of talking about the offside on the weekend that wasn't offside.
Yeah. I would rather the conversations be about the refs getting it wrong, making a mistake, than someone in a room making a mistake. Yeah. Let the ref if someone's going to make a mistake, let the ref on the pitch make the mistake. I think even back throughout, it's frustrating, but that was part, like you said, that was part of like the talk afterwards.
Yeah. I'd argue more, if not the same amount of mistakes are made pre-post VAR coming in, to be honest.
Yeah.
They say it's not, and the percentage wise and all that, but it feels like it is, doesn't it? And it's not only feeling like it is, the time taken is killing the game. Yeah. The reason why I played football as a kid, when I could stand up and I loved the football, was scoring goals.
Yeah.
The reason why I played football was because I wanted to score goals. And then when I was playing, the best feeling that I had was scoring a goal. The thought of not knowing whether that was a goal or not. Just I'm happy I've retired in that aspect.
Yeah.
That I wasn't around as a striker in that, because once you want that feeling of the ball hitting the net and you know to go, that's the best feeling in football, bar none.
Yeah, definitely. Another thing that's kind of FIFA are exploring at the moment is potentially moving to like a European Super League, and then obviously the football calendar at the minute is already just packed with games. Like it just seems like they just keep churning the footballers out into as many games as possible to get financial gains for themselves. What are your thoughts on the kind of attempt of a Super League, or now they've kind of expanded the Champions League to multiple teams, which we'll see for the first time next year. What are your thoughts on that and the way it's going?
So this is the UEFA and FIFA kind of kneeling to the club owners. Now we have to be careful of these club owners. We've seen what they tried to do a few years ago. They want it like the NFL. They want it a closed shop. They want to get rid of the pyramid. That's what they want to do. So whatever way they can get this done, they'll do it. Mm-hmm. So it's up to us, honestly. We done it a few years ago, and I think we shook them up a little bit. But it needs to come again. Because I think it's only 14 chairmen can change the Premier League to the way they want it.
Right.
I think that's what it is, isn't it?
The majority votes.
Majority, yeah.
And I think it's close. I think they're on 12.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
I think they're on 12. So they are talking behind the scenes to change our system. Yeah. Now, I think we need to, as the fans, take this very seriously. Very seriously. Like what you're saying now is FIFA and UEFA. That is them kind of trying to keep these chairmen happy, right, and say, right, we'll do this, but they're gonna try and do it.
Yeah, it's definitely going to follow the NFL type of system. I think even geographically, they've looked at America, put it over Europe, and said that's pretty much the same size. Yeah. We're going to follow the same model, and that's what I think is going to go.
Yeah, they're talking about playing friendlies or early season games or last season games over in the US, aren't they, or different countries? I mean, Newcastle went down to Australia, didn't they?
They've done it with La Liga, haven't they, where they've now agreed to play games outside of Spain for the first time, I believe. So
I think get our pyramid system, push that around the world. What we have, push that. I am not for close shop. Never try and make yourself better and bigger. Obviously that is, but if you try and change it, then you have to face consequences. You cannot come into this country and change our pyramid system. Well, it's too precious to everyone. If they change it, the pyramid system will collapse.
Yeah. Well, you're someone who directly benefited from that, right? So because you played the first part of your career in the lower leagues, and then you eventually got your chance with Southampton, got promoted into the Premier League, and then you had great seasons, and then you moved to Liverpool, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But obviously, if they do get rid of that pyramid system, players who peak a little bit later in their career won't get that opportunity. And not that matters to the people, money, man. But
I think obviously I'm the perfect example of what the pyramid system is supposed to be for teams and for players like myself. It's for players who look up and see the very pinnacle of football and believe there's a way for you to get there. It took me a while for me to see that, but I finally did see a chance of thinking, right, I'm going to try and get to this place, the Premier League, the pinnacle of football. And I got there. That what this is going to do, it's going to just stop. It's going to kill all that. It's going to kill it all. It's going to, these clubs will then now become franchises that the size that you will not believe. They'll become the size of countries. Yeah. This is what they want to do. And everything else will just fall away.
Yeah, well, we did try booking a room in Liverpool, and they wanted 15 grand.
Really?
Yeah.
So, but last season, I think they was doing it normal prices. But where we spoke to Everton, where we was streaming Beckford,
Yep.
and yeah, they was great, and just let us book a room, no problem. But it goes to show the difference between the franchise clubs, only interested in the top dollar compared to, you know, your more traditional clubs who are looking out for the community.
Beckford,
Well,
another one
yeah.
that benefited from the Premier. Jermaine Beckford.
Me and him had almost identical
Yeah.
degrees.
Did you play against each other at all?
We did, yeah. We were fighting for the Golden Boot
Yeah.
for a good few years.
Okay, yeah, the Championship.
And, yeah,
And League One.
Championship League One.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good laugh. So yeah.
He's a great lad. And
Yeah.
I've heard, I'm at Wigan now as a coach. I heard that he might be coming into Wigan to
Oh,
help
nice.
out coaching as
Brilliant.
well. So
Oh, right.
I know he's doing his badges. So yeah.
but great lad.
Yeah.
Well, talking about changing the game or potential changes in the game, we did mention about player welfare. What do you think about heading in the game, and do you think I'll be maybe phased out with what's going on at the moment?
So I was one of these old school players. I'll take like with the kids, what a load of rubbish and all that. But obviously, with the evidence that's come out the last few years, I was a coach at grassroots, and I'm with the 15s and 16s. You've got to take note, haven't you? You've got to understand, take note of the people who know what's going on. So, it's devastating because football is a skill. It's an art, and it's hard to master, and it is a part of the game. So if you take it out of training, take it out of games until you get to a certain age, then the quality of the head and the quality of which will mean the quality of the whole round game is going to suffer.
Yeah.
But obviously the health of individuals.
So what sort of evidence have they picked up on it?
I think is a 5% or 8% rise of, especially kids. Is it from before 12 who header,
Right.
especially on a constant basis? These are quite a little bit of damage caused there. But obviously, if you carry on and you make as a professional footballer, and the combination of headers, then the percentage of players getting certain types of dementia afterwards increases. I don't know to what extent.
Okay.
So that, like I said, I was one of them who was like, take no notice. This is before all the documents and the research came out. Now that's come out, then you have to take note.
Yeah. Is there anything they can do to make it more safe? Like maybe when practicing heading, using a different type of ball, or maybe some special headgear. You saw after, I can't remember the player who used to play for Wolves and now plays for Fulham. He had the bad head injury. Jimenez. So when he returned to football, he wore headgear for maybe a year or so afterwards. After having a skull fracture, colliding with the goalkeeper. Is there something like that they can wear? Something like headband, maybe, just to kind of.
I don't know about a headband, but a ball. Like as a coach, I teach the technique of headering, the shoulders, the footwork, and if you can just change the ball to a little bit softer, you can still get the technique. Obviously, the touch from your forehead and the ball going into the net, that would be different. So you'd have to have that end.
Yeah.
Now and again, you just decrease how many times you would do it, but the movement, the technique, you could do it with a softer ball, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, we spoke to Tony Cotti and he said about a foam ball, suggesting using one of them. Yeah. But I take your point, actually, that the contacts from your head for the foam ball is going to be very totally different, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think naturally, I don't know whether that is part of it, but I think players do head the ball less these days, the way it's played. Certainly in the top leagues. I'm not sure about the lower leagues so much.
When I was at YTS, I used to take the central defenders out, and I used to ping it 40 yards, and the defenders just go bang as hard as they can, like 20, 30 yard headers back to me. Wow. And that was on a constant basis. We used to do that. So that when I look now, I think, whoa, I can understand why that is out of the game. You shouldn't be doing that on a constant basis.
Yeah, hopefully they make it, there's a way around it, to be honest. I want to keep heading in the game, but they need to come up with some
increased safety, isn't it? Yeah,
safety measures. Okay, moving on to England now. Euro 2024 around the corner.
Yep.
How do you fancy England's chances, and are they going to win it?
I think the second favourites. So obviously behind France, it's whether we turn up. And the good thing with Gareth Southgate is that we do turn up for competitions. He does usually get the majority of choices right. Now, a lot of people will say the most important choices might have got them wrong, which I kind of agree with. But in all, Gareth Southgate's team turns up for the competition, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you talk about the key moments.
Yeah.
Obviously, the game we went 1-0 up and sat often, we invited pressure. Do you think this time he might learn from that? Well, hopefully he would. What do you think he could have done different, maybe in that situation?
Make a couple of changes, but I think he knows that. I think he, like you said, he doesn't get to learn as quick as a Premier League coach.
True, yeah.
Premier League manager. He gets these moments once every 2 years, 4 years, so he definitely would have learned from that. But what I think Gareth has done, he's created that atmosphere for England players right throughout the ages. That you want to be there now. You love going there. It's like you can see that with all other countries, can't you? Lads love going, and I think Gareth has created that now. So I think the benefits of Gareth will be seen for the next 10 years, especially with these lads coming through. To be fair to the FA set out, 10, 15 years ago to create more technical players. Now look at the players that we've got. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
I mean, midfield, geez, there's...
So we have got to base our team, for me, around Rice, Bellingham and Foden. If we can get them free in the middle and then put the players around them, that's the best midfield in the world.
As a 3 across?
I would say in a triangle.
Okay.
Yeah, Rice at the back.
So Foden, attacking midfielder.
Yeah, one defending, 2 attack, or 2 defending, 1 attack.
Yeah.
Like that, pivot, 2 pivot or 1 pivot.
Yeah.
Who's wide for you then?
I would probably put Saka on the right.
It's tough on this.
I'd probably go Cole Palmer on the right, actually.
I think he deserves it, doesn't he?
Yeah,
He's
I'd
had
probably go Cole Palmer on the right.
Yeah, not quite his position. I don't think. He's played for Chelsea anyway, but you can't leave him out, I don't think.
Grealish on the left, Kane up top. That's something, isn't it?
Yeah.
You don't need a defence. Don't need.
Do you think he was right to leave out the big boys that he left out? Rashford, Sterling. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what made it excited me as an England fan, because I was thinking, is he going to go with tried and trusted? Well, no, he's not, because he's not even included them. So it's going to be interesting who he plays defensively. Is he going to go with the next up-and-coming central defender, even though he hasn't got experience like Braithwaite, or is he going to go with tried and trusted Maguire? So that's the only thing that I would like him to go with one of the young ones, straight from the off, go for it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I think play pace at the back, get a ball over the halfway line, and go win the tournament, basically. That's what I think it should pan out.
I think you can change it in games where you need to sit in and have Harry Maguire in for his experience. So I think the problem with Maguire is he doesn't have the same pace, and you saw it from the transition from Leicester to Man United, where he's used to playing counter-attacking football at Leicester, Vardy over the top. He didn't have to run. At Man United, he's starting on the halfway line, 40 yards behind him. Totally changes his game style. So I think you could have Maguire in there for the tougher games, maybe France, where you need to dig in, or you could go all out pace.
Gareth does that as well. He likes to play 3-4-3, doesn't he, Gareth?
Yeah.
And hit them on the counter. So a 5 and then a 4, which turns into a 4-3-3 counter-attacking team. And I think England are very good at that. So if he does play that formation, Maguire will probably play in that formation.
Yeah. Ward-Prowse unlucky as well. You know, they're not
it's
quite
all
timing.
about timing.
Yeah.
Like you said, I think he hit his peak of performance last year, didn't he? And he's kind of tailed off this year. So if he was at the peak of last year, he probably would have got into the squad.
Yeah.
What a free kick taker as well. Yeah,
Left back as well, your old teammate Luke Shaw. He's been included, but hasn't really played a lot for United this season. And they decided not to go with Chilwell as well. Are you surprised by that?
I am because obviously we're all sat here, aren't we, thinking who's going to be playing left back? Is it
Trippier, I think, when
yeah.
It's
going to be Trippier. But going back to Ward-Prowse, I've got to say, best free kick taker I've seen. He was a kid at Southampton when he came 16, and I was taking free kicks, and like a few of them always do, like they want to kind of show how good they are, and I'm like, go on then. And then he's just hit this free kick, just first one, bang, whipped it in the top corner straight away. I was like, who is this kid? That was the first training session. I was like,
did you say that's your lot? I'm on him.
No, just everyone else went, you go away, and I was kept in with me. I kept
16 was it? You say 16? Yeah, okay.
Wow. Yeah, and
Technique.
he was one of the free kick takers at Southampton at the time, right? So that takes some character to walk up to the first team free kick taker.
I was trying to get his confidence out because his technique was unbelievable. It was his confidence of doing it in a game. And I was like, mate, honestly, as soon as you score that first free kick, you'll be off because your technique is the best I've seen. But I could manifest a free kick going into the top corner on a match day. And I knew it was only a matter of time until he got that side of it. And then with his technique and his belief of scoring, it was only going to be a matter of time. And I think he's one away from David Beckham's record.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah.
How different is it scoring a free kick in training to a live match day on the spot? Is it vastly different? You got people trying to put you off, the pressure.
When you're young, yes, it's massively different. But when you become accustomed to it, that is the key. That's the key. You're in the exact same scenario as you are on a training pitch. If you can keep that in your head, you will succeed more times than not. If you think, oh my God, if this goes in, look at the crowd, 30,000 fans, they're going to go mad, but you are not going to score that free kick. But if you think, I'm taking a free kick like I was yesterday where I scored 5 on the trot, I'm just going to do the exact same thing, you'll do it. You'll do it. And that's what I was trying to teach Prowse.
It's been a year since he's moved to West Ham. Good signing? Good move for him, do you think? For Ward-Prowse?
West Ham?
Yeah,
I think so. It's a shame. Like they get it plays at Southampton. They get to a certain time where a move can be financially better for them. I think I tried to say to Prowse, be careful what you wish for, because obviously I left Southampton, didn't I? Went to go to Liverpool, which was my beloved childhood team, but it didn't work out for me. And even though financially I got rewarded, I do regret that. I lost that kind of relationship with the Saints fans that I had. Even though I think they still appreciate me, I was loved down there, and I kind of said, realize what you've got. And I know that they got relegated. He's only got a certain amount of time, but he was loved. And he still will be loved and respected.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so we're going to move on to the Public Health Alliance and People's Farm and Food Association segment. So, what was it? The People's Health Alliance, your ambassador role, and the mental well-being project. Can you just tell us a bit, like, how you become involved with them, and what kind of drew you to supporting the association?
Yeah, no, I see Matt obviously was a part of it, and he contacted me and said that he would like to speak to me, which I was like, oh my God, I would love to be a part of it. I spoke to Lisa, and told me all about it. what the plans are for the future. I just think it's amazing. I think I don't think this country's ever has needed an something like this more because the government. I think people know what I think of this government.
Yeah.
It's they are purposely completely breaking our society around us, and it's up to ourselves now to pick it up. It is, because the government are not going to do it. So it is alliances like this, People's Health Alliances, and others that are going to have to do it themselves and find funding, find the people, and pick this country up, because they are purposely trying to ruin it. They are purposely trying to destroy the society around us, so they can put in a system onto us which is going to be horrific.
Yeah, it's keeping us plugged in, isn't it? That's the goal of the government. And the Health Alliance, along with the Food and Farming Alliance, are trying to teach, encourage, motivate people to unplug, aren't they?
Yes.
From things like that and go back to more natural management of your health.
Yes.
They do got lots of resources. Amanda was telling me about the getting people into sport as part of that mental wellbeing project as well. So obviously you're a great person to do that.
Yeah, no, it's a combination of a lot of things, isn't it? But decentralizing each area around the country. So areas that have good leaders in the farming, the People's Health Alliance, getting the younger generations to get a part of it, growing their own food, getting involved in activities, sports, getting role models based in these areas as much as possible. Like I said, decentralize everything. Because when you look at the bigger picture of what they're trying to do, and they try and push on like the Agenda 2130 and a lot of things, the farmers are in the firing line. They are purposely going for the farmers directly. They're going for the food source. So they can control us even more. And the farmers are trying to tell us, look what they're doing to us. And people are not paying attention at all to what is happening. So I think the more that we can scream at the top of our voice that we need to look after our farmers, and that will start with the younger generations coming up and learning farming, learning growing their own food.
Which is close to you, obviously, with your parents. You grew up on a farm, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes, but my dad laughs at it because the way I've described it in the past is my dad was a farmer. My dad wasn't a farmer. He worked on a farm.
Yep.
He's been hammered quite a bit.
Oh, is he?
He worked on a farm, picking obviously the cabbages or whatever it was, and I went and helped him for a little bit.
Yeah.
But
great to see though and learn and because it's a skill. You can't just pick it up, can you?
No.
Yeah. What are the ways people can get involved doing this? Can they join their local communities or their setups in different regions?
Yeah. So at the minute, there's nothing set up specifically where, like, for People's Health Alliance up my end. This is where I've only just started speaking to Lisa and getting on board with it. But what we're trying to do, I was an ambassador for Nobody Left Behind, which is a organisation set up again by people, like good people, whose main thought was for people who are probably going down the wrong track, getting involved in the wrong people, and the future doesn't look bright for them. Mm-hmm. Nobody Left Behind is trying to get these people and guide them in the right direction and offer them a role, a job, basically, for when they finish school. And it's an unbelievable organisation, unbelievable people running it, and like trying to get these organisations all tied in together, I think will be the best thing going forward.
Yeah. It is hard, isn't it? Because the traditional roots of people who are lacking that guidance and role models, tend to end up going down criminal avenues for fast money and things like that, and especially if you come from poor background as well. Those things are kind of attractive to youngsters, and they kind of get sucked into that lifestyle. So having kind of these actual real alternatives where they can get skills and earn money, an honest way, that's really obviously can help benefit them for their futures and help them. And also with the food side of things as well, Liverpool is kind of known for having lots of like food banks and stuff. Is there a way of kind of supplementing some of that by starting to like grow your own food and things like this? I think that's something that can be built into the community-wise aspect.
This has to come from us. This has to come from us.
Yeah, the system's not going to put that in place, is it?
No, they're not going to do it. They're getting rid of it. They're killing it off on purpose. So this is the last thing they want. So it's up to us and podcasts like this and any other way that we can get this out. I speak to obviously a few people who've done it, and it's trying to come up with a network of people around nationwide to create this base. But the more we can decentralize away from the government, the better. And creating even like I know it sounds silly, but becoming closer to your neighbours. Yeah, becoming closer to your neighbours, finding out what they can do, and maybe grow,
share resources.
Grow food in your garden. Like each neighbour grows a different type of food.
I mean, I've recently got into it the last couple of years because I help out on the Food and Farming Alliance YouTube channel. So naturally, as I'm doing their work, I'm learning about growing food. So I've tried myself. It's gone quite well, and haven't experienced it until, as I say, the last couple of years. But it's literally like printing money growing food. I can't describe it. So I definitely encourage. Really? 100%. Definitely encourage people to do it.
Yeah, it's one last thing you got to buy, isn't it? And then also, if you grow that network, like you say, of neighbours, you have one grow carrots, potatoes, or whatever, you can trade your grows, then can you? And help kind of support your community that way.
Imagine the farmers didn't have to go to these supermarkets who are blatantly robbing them. Imagine they can just bypass the supermarkets and go directly to communities. So it's how can we create these communities so farmers can go straight to these communities and start selling their products to these communities? How can we create that? How can we bypass these supermarkets? Because they're killing the farmers on purpose.
I think the only way you can do that is by having a farmers alliance around the country, and then just set up outlets throughout the country,
selling
and have
their stuff,
rather than doing the middleman of a supermarket and buying low, selling high, and kind of squeezing the whole kind of living of farmers, because the margins are very thin, and if they have a poor yield, then that could just bust their whole kind of model. So I think it's about grouping together, like you say, but also making people aware, like actually, if you go and support these groups, and you might pay a bit more, but you're helping the farmers out, and it's not just going into these giant corporations' pockets who don't pay any tax and things. So
at the minute, it's hard because people don't really pay attention, and they won't change the way of life until it physically hurts them or changes their way of. And it is obviously with inflation, the price of things, it is affecting them, but it's not affecting them that much for them to start changing and going directly to farmers and becoming a part of the community and helping. They're not doing that because they don't feel like they have to.
And it's hard work. I think that's another reason what like the system's trying to.
They're working 9 till 5 every day. They're coming home. The last thing that they're thinking is like being a part of a community like that. So it's being ready for when, because these everyone's going to start getting pushed a lot more. And when it does go society, because they are going to bring down the society around us, hopefully we have enough people like use People's Health Alliance who've created these communities who can then grab a lot of people to help and then build this country back up.
Yeah, just going back to your point, Anton, the other thing buying direct from farmers is you're not getting your food sprayed full of rubbish, herbicides, pesticides, which I know, the government kind of places on farmers for high yields, etc., etc. They're pushed for margins anyway in terms of the supermarkets buying their stuff off them, so it's healthier.
Well, that's taking me into a whole different thing, now, and this is what I've been talking about for a few years as well, is that the people who are supposed to be in charge of looking after our health, they are not looking after our health. No. Again, it's up to ourselves to look after ourselves. Your food is poisoned, your water is poisoned. That's as simple as I can put it. And
yeah, I agree.
Look at the rates of cancer and people getting ill. It is so obvious. It's so obvious. They are doing it on purpose, though. This is the thing. They're doing it on purpose. They know it is.
I say that to people as well, and they look at me as if I'm some absolute, what do you mean? It's hard to articulate, though, isn't it? Yeah. You probably find the same.
It is. But I think the vaccine, like what they've obviously done the last 4 years, I think hopefully that has woke up a lot of people, lot of people to everything, and that's what we needed, a wake up. And as much as it's damaged a lot of people, it's starting to wake them up now to what this government is actually capable of. Yeah, what they're actually doing, because it's a lot worse than what you think it is.
Yeah, well, I think part of making people sick with the food they eat is kind of trying to push towards an Americanized, because they're kind of crippling the NHS into kind of extinction by underfunding it. It's being kind of, sold off to private firms. So wherever gets allocated to them, they've got to, service the shareholders before buying new equipment, etc. I think that's all an attempt to go down the route of making private medical care more kind of accessible. And then, the more sick people you got, the more you can kind of generate income from a private health system. But obviously, that's a lot for some people. But that's what I feel like it's going.
But I know both alliances, the Health Alliance and the Food and Farm Alliance, very much want your support. If you want to create content, get in touch with them. We'll leave a link in the description for who they are. Obviously, Rickie's involved, Matt Letizier's involved, doing some good stuff. They do need support, so they're trying to, as Rickie's been saying, build the community, both food and health.
And that's it for today's episode, guys. Remember to like and subscribe. Have a world-class weekend.